Sky Children of the Light continues the minimalist design of Thatgamecompany's earlier works, with Journey being the obvious blueprint. In fact, I could copy and paste my video script for that game and it wouldn't be too far off, in both story and core gameplay. Taking control of a child on their path to heaven, players explore 7 distinct realms in the Kingdom of Sky, sharing light with lost spirits and dispelling darkness along the way. The voyage ends at the Eye of Eden, where the child dies and is reborn from the beginning. The story fittingly embraces spirituality and existentialism, celebrating life, kindness, and human connection. Players collect winged light to prolong their ability to fly, which is recharged through light sources. Singing also returns from Journey, but here it's primarily for signaling others in online multiplayer, something I'll discuss later. Deceased spirits can be found populating the kingdom, granting expressions as well as access to new areas once enough are discovered. Touching spirits instigates a minigame following their past memories, sometimes in a slow escort mission, and while these are cute at first, they quickly become a chore due to their simple and repetitive nature, not to mention these special spirits tasking players with yet more monotonous exploratory challenges. Sky has a number of in-game currencies used to buy loads of non-essential toys and accessories like outfits, instruments, spells, and more. Candles are rewarded by collecting light, and hearts are primarily gifted by online friends. Last are Ascended candles, obtained by sacrificing winged light to save the fallen in the final level, which can unlock more goodies for subsequent playthroughs. In typical free-to-play fashion, Sky offers the option to purchase candles with real money instead of earning them legitimately, a practice I'm adamantly against, not only because it takes forever to afford them naturally, but because it defeats the purpose of playing. On top of this is the underhanded mechanic where candles take longer to form as more light is collected, pressuring players to pay up or come back tomorrow when it resets. Another live service tactic I disapprove of is making content only temporarily available via seasonal events, since it's not always possible to play within these limited timeframes. Unlike Journey, not everything can be collected in a single completionist run. With tons of rare and expensive unlockables, Sky expects players to very gradually amass the funds necessary by redoing levels and making friends that are hopefully willing to help. It's not exactly ideal to depend on others' generosity, specifically to get hearts, and even with optional pathways that may or may not be previously explored, levels don't have enough replay value. I was already burned out before completing my first run, and yet the game still demands that I keep playing to chip away at its mountain of desirables. Sky has no business stretching itself out like this. The most substantial feature that defines Sky is the online multiplayer. Those inhabiting the same realm can observe each other in action, and level progression is somewhat shared across them. Candles can unlock tiers of friendship between those who accept it, allowing for more options to interact in helpful and adorable ways. Stuff like holding hands to guide each other, piggyback riding, chatting, gifting hearts, hugging, and high-fiving. Multiplayer is also what gives the expressions purpose, bolstering the ability to entertain and communicate, though it can be cumbersome to find the right expression as the list grows massive. Annoyingly, some things are straight up inaccessible without the involvement of multiple people at once, an issue that worsens with higher thresholds, so I just have to sit here waiting for others to show up before I can proceed. It's lame. The unfortunate fact about online multiplayer is that regardless of how active the player base is, people can't always be relied on to participate. There's a lack of polish that permeates throughout Sky. Cutscenes trigger unexpectedly because of other players making progress. The camera sometimes defaults to disorienting positions, hindering visibility, notably when entering confined areas. In an effort to make the game more forgiving, the child is programmed to stop before running off a ledge and gravitate to nearby ground when jumping, but sometimes this gets them stuck on level geometry. Any attempt at precise platforming is awkward with controls this loose, floaty, and inconsistent, especially when candle lighting on uneven terrain. Realms frequently have extensions with long, boring tunnels, and there are many large sub-areas breaking off the main path, adding more sprawling vistas to the world's scope. Though visually splendid, character movement is not really complex or diverse enough to justify all this space, and the collectibles eventually grow mundane. With how much backtracking is required for completion, it's unfathomable why there are no convenient fast travel methods. The only remarkable sub-area is the Cave of Prophecies, which strips players of the ability to fly in favor of traditional platforming challenges. But as stated earlier, the wonky physics make these trials ill-suited. I don't believe in discounting games due to the existence of better ones. However, my reoccurring thought was that without the community aspect, Sky is a bloated and unrefined take on Journey's formula. The story is not as explicit, the camera and controls are less reliable, the gameplay is spread extremely thin, and as usual, the microtransactions are psychologically manipulative. It's a shame because there are elements I find superior, and I have a strong affinity for games that take place in this setting. Sky is beautiful in presentation and subject matter. It's cozy to play and a heartwarming social escape, enabling basic yet tender human interactions. My intention was to withhold judgment until Thatgamecompany finished servicing it, but seeing how inconsequential the updates have been, it's become very apparent that Sky will never be anything better than it is now. Aside from possibly different companionship, there's nothing fresh about consecutive runs, and therefore no reason to enforce it. As a social app, Sky's features are adequate. As a single-player adventure, it's tedious and inconsiderate. The game needs to succeed with or without online multiplayer, and it doesn't. So now, after 60 hours of playtime with little to show for it, I'm leaving Sky not out of fulfillment, but exhaustion.